Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It is 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. We have electricity and internet, and I think it's staying on for good today. The last 2 days, it would go. I'd lose it at 5:30. I don't know if it was work on the cell towers or what. It's good to see you guys again. I was getting worried. All right, I've got a lot I'd like to talk to you guys about, and this isn't just rambling stuff. There's three basic videos I would like to talk to you guys today. Three basic different subjects, videos I'd like to make and talk to you. Number one, I'd like to talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect and climate change and the COVID virus. Okay. Number two, I posted a video of Donald Trump, a rally, a press briefing, and a lot of people are going to be talking about this. Another example of Trump losing his mind, basically. Just off rail. He talks about Biden hating guns and God, hating energy. He wants to hurt God. Exact quote. Yeah. Biden hates energy. Who knew? You know what? Just a quick note, when I saw that video, I wasn't angry. I wasn't the least bit concerned that Biden was going to lose votes or Trump was going to gain them. I felt sad. I felt sad for this country, that this man is in charge of our country right now. That was my main emotion when I saw that video. All right, third thing I want to talk about, what I'm going to talk about right now. Private freedom. Our freedom here in America. All right. What led me to think about this? In New York City, if you guys have heard, they're setting up checkpoints to check people it's a mandatory self-quarantine. People coming from 32 states have to mandatory self-quarantine. There's checkpoints where they're stopping people. And I saw a comment from somebody on TV, and the guy goes, "I don't know. This is personal freedom. I don't know. I don't know if I like this. Them stopping us without probable cause." And that really got me thinking about the whole mask thing. People saying that it's their private, it's my right. I don't have to wear a mask. It's my freedom. And I started thinking about that. I want to talk about that right now, real quick. All right. This is what worries me. This person's talking. These people, masks, and this gentleman that was talking about not wanting to be stopped. It seems today in America, and a lot of this seems to be more prevalent with Trump supporters. And the whole it goes along with the whole America first, me first, me. I could do what I want. I could say what I want. It's this. You feel self-entitled. A lot of people feel so entitled to I'm free. I could shoot guns. I could hurt people. I could drive 100 miles an hour. I could drink. I could, and I could do whatever I want because this is America. By gum. And I really started thinking about that. And I thought about a quote. If any of you guys are Trekkies, Spock used to say, the good of the many outweigh the good of the few or the one. And I really started thinking about that. People that talk like this guy that talks about, I don't know, it's against my rights being stopped. And he talks about his rights. People with their masks talk about it's my right if I don't want to wear a mask. But what these people aren't considering, what about other Americans' rights? Other people just like you, other Americans. Because I'm not going to say all colors and all races and all sexes, because I know Trump supporters consider the white Protestant male to be the most entitled. So let's just say another white Protestant male, same age as you. What about his rights? What about his right to not get sick, to be protected, to not be exposed to your germs? He definitely has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But you notice life is the first and probably the most important one. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness being last. What good is the pursuit of happiness if you're dying? Obviously. And I started thinking about America and our future and this whole Trumpism thing, where they seem to It's almost a childish, juvenile outlook on things, where they feel like they're getting back to having personal freedoms and being able to say, if I want to call somebody an N-word, if I want to call somebody a wetback or a beaner, I could do that. I could say what I want, and they're snowflakes if they can't take it. And these, and it's that selfishness. I could do whatever I want, and it doesn't matter how it affects anybody else. And it's a juvenile outlook. And I thought about society as a whole, America, our future. And like I said, what if this epidemic was worse? And it will, not really what if, but when it's worse, when we do have to face a catastrophe bigger than this, when we have to come together and work as a cohesive unit, the whole country, what's going to happen? Like I said, I really believe that our founders didn't even feel the need to talk. I think to them back then, it was so obvious that as a society, the important thing is to work together, and you have to consider other people's rights. And I really think back then that it was such a juvenile thing that they didn't feel the need to even say it. But now we seem to have become so entitled, or some of us have become so entitled here in America, and particularly Trump supporters and of that ilk, where they just believe they can do or say or anything because this is America. And you could picture this person growing up and hearing this rhetoric their whole life. Well, it's America, and we got freedoms, and we're blessed, and we could do whatever we want. We're the greatest, and nobody else matters. We're number one, and we're the most important. We're it. And I could picture these people growing up and hearing that, and it doesn't really occur to them. The last thing these people are is patriotic. They're not even cognizant of society, of America as a whole. To them, America, to the United States, is them as a person. That's their United States. That's their America, their little world, their personal freedom, what they can say and do. That's, to them, that's America. There doesn't seem like they're taking in the whole big picture. When you don't wear a mask or stopping people going into New York, it has nothing to do with what you're carrying in the car, where you're coming from, where you're going. Well, as far as it does, if you're coming from a place that's going to be dangerous to the citizens that live and work in New York City. And some people have a problem with this, because just stopping for those 2 minutes and answering a couple questions, well, that's infringing. That's putting me out. That's an outrage. How dare you stop me? But what about the people, the millions and millions of people that live in New York City and their right to not be infected? One person, 5 people, whatever, come in to New York City one day and they're infected with COVID-19. And if you've I've been to New York City a lot, and it's tight, it's a tight fit. One person could easily, back in the day, a year or two ago, one person could easily infect hundreds, if not thousands of people in one day, easily in New York City, just by going to one restaurant here, a movie there, a show on Broadway here, and this person's infected hundreds of people, if not thousands. What about those hundreds and thousands of people? Aren't they Americans? Don't they deserve the same rights? And even more so, don't they deserve the right to live a healthy life and not be infected by you? Just carrying these germs everywhere. Again, it's almost like drunk driving. We're not allowed to drunk drive because, yes, you're allowed to have alcohol and enjoy yourself, but you got to do it responsibly. And again, this is it. You got to have to be cognizant of being American means being cognizant of your fellow Americans, of respect. That's America. It's like half of America is just done away with the word respect, unless it has to do with the flag or the national anthem or President Trump, or them. Those 4 things, or their gun, or their car, or their truck. And other than that, they don't need to respect anything, because this is America, and by gummit, I could say and do anything I feel. and if we continue on this path as a society, it will be the end of this society. You can't have people living that way. The good of the many outweigh the good of the few, whether we like it or not. Whether or not it's a Star Trek quote or not, it's the truth. If you just take into consideration each person's what they want to do, their freedom to do whatever they want, eventually it's going to damage. You won't have a society left. You won't, because one of those people's actions will deteriorate that society. It's just common sense. And we've lost track of that. And again, I think this is a simple thing that the founders of this country, it was so simple to them back then. And I think we've become so arrogant, and we've been led to believe and brainwashed about we are just great and number one, and all that matters is our personal freedom to do and say whatever the hell we want. And God will judge us, and anybody else can go to, And here's the thing, as a society, as America, it's not good for America. It's not good for any society to operate in that fashion. It's the solvent that's going to wear the glue of America and dissolve it. Is that juvenile attitude of me first, my opinions. Just like there's a video here from New Jersey a couple of days ago. It came out, and it's a security camera showing a woman in her 20s thrashing an older woman who happened to have a kidney transplant. And this younger woman threw her to the ground, broke her leg in the process. And then this because the older woman was susceptible to COVID-19, and she asked the younger woman, could you please wear a mask? The younger woman was so outraged by this request, for this woman fearing for her life. This woman threw her to the ground and broke her leg, and then just strode off. You see it on the camera, just strode off about her business. And you look at that. America won't cease to exist if people continue in that fashion. They won't. That will dissolve the bond of any society. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. You can call that communist, you can call it socialist, you can call it whatever you want. It's common. It's a basic tenet of society, of living in society, whether you like it or not. You can call it communist, you can call it whatever you want. But your freedoms to do whatever you want are only good as far as they don't affect other people's freedoms. And that's where we seem to have gone off track. Just me first, us first, US first. All right. I'll be back with a few more videos. You guys have a good Friday.